Okay, so as Luke said, my name's Dylan. I'm a final year chemistry student, and today I'm going to be talking about something which is fiber 66. So fiber 66 was discovered in 1938 by this guy, who's Wallace Hume Carothers. So he was this amazing organic chemist, which is kind of what I work on. I work on taking cheap little organic molecules made of carbon and turning them into big sexy molecules, which is kind of most of what I'm studying at the moment. But this guy was a fantastic chemist, and he was working in the late 30s for DuPont, who's an American company. And what he was trying to do was try to find new commercial applications for polymers. So polymers are just kind of like these long chains of different units. So if you imagine like Lego blocks, one Lego block's a monomer and you stitch a load of them together, and that's a polymer, and you do that 30,000 times or 60,000 times depending on what you want. That's what he was researching. So what he did on February 28, 1935, him and his team combined these two chemicals in a reaction. They had hexamethylene diamine and adipic acid, which are really long names, so I'm not going to talk about them again. He mixes them together and he stirs it up and he boils the reaction. And the reaction starts to spit out quite a lot of water. So what you have to do is you have to pull everything that comes through it through this kind of coffee filter thing, which is called a spinneret. And you pull out this really long polymer and you can wrap it around a glass rod. And this was the first time that anyone had ever done this. This was the very first time that someone had made this material. They called it fiber 66, and they were able to get just under half an ounce, so about 14 grams for the very first time. What they didn't anticipate is that this went on to cause riots. So in post-World War II Germany, people were paying 1.5 times their monthly salary to get less than the weight of the clicker worth of this material. That's 70 grams. So 70 grams of this stuff they were buying on the black market for €900 at least. And back in the States, it was no better. Here's 10,000 people in 1940 outside of a shop in San Francisco cramming in to get less than 100 grams of this material again. So there was actual riots, like they'd pushed their way all the way to the very end of the storefront and were pushing through the store windows just to get a little bit of it. So my next question is, what is it? You know, I get a different response every time I ask this, and I knew that something like that would be said at a festival, so thank you. Any other guesses? What's the material? Nylon. Yes, it is nylon. Very well done. And where do we find nylon? Tights. Precisely, tights. Very good. So, this is a very happy lady here, which is probably like several thousands euro worth of nylon, I think. So yes, it's nylon. Nylon is what DuPont started marketing in the early 1940s. It became like the ultimate fashion accessory of the time. Everyone needed to have a really good pair of nylons. This is the actual structure of it. So it's nylon 66. That's why it was fiber 66. Nylon, well, the story is anyway that the name comes from New York and London, NY and LON. That's not really confirmed. That's probably just something I read on the back of a pack of Pop-Tarts or something. But each repeat unit of the polymer chain has 2 stretches of these carbon atoms, and these are 6 carbon atoms long each, and that's why it's nylon 66. Now, the reason for the riots actually is that shortly after it was discovered, World War II was really kicking off. And the great thing about nylon is that it's really lightweight, and it's also resistant to mildew, resistant to moisture. It's really strong as well. So even though it had become like this real fashionable thing, they just stopped manufacturing it for tights altogether, and they made parachutes out of it instead. And it was because it was an American discovery. DuPont is an American company. You couldn't buy it in Germany just in any ordinary shop. You had to get it on the black market. But thankfully, they went back to manufacturing tights, because otherwise none of you would get this amazing view right now. But they went on to try out a couple of different things with it. Like they tried making toothbrushes, which was not great because they feel really horrible. And then they made umbrellas. Like some of you might even have nylon umbrellas here with you, because again, lightweight and resistant to mildew. Even cookware, because like it's non-slip material, so nothing sticks to it. It's a bit like Bertie Ahern. So they started manufacturing spatulas and different kind of cookware to use at the time. And they went on for nylon climbing rope, and some of the other one that you might actually have here is a nylon backpack as well. So that's really common now as well. So thankfully they went back to manufacturing and develop it further, reducing like millions of tons of it every year now. But just to go back to their final slogan, gives you something extra. I hope this talk about nylon and all of ADZ pieces have given you something extra to think about this weekend.